TGIF, everybody. It's chamber check-in time. And today I have a great opportunity to share with you all a great organization with Jane Donnellan. Hi, Jane.
Hello, everybody.
I'm so excited to hear more about the Idaho Vocational Rehabilitation Organization and Agency from your years of experience. And it couldn't be more relevant time to talk about what you guys do. But first, I get to thank our series sponsor for these events. It's Delta Dental of Idaho. Jane, you know Delta Dental of Idaho. They've been providing high quality, best in class dental insurance benefits to individuals and businesses to Idaho for over 50 years. And their programs are backed and designed by the largest network of dentists in the country. And with that, I get to share a fun little video. Here we go.
Yeah, it's a weird time, but there's still a lot to smile about. So stay connected with your dentist to make sure your oral health and your overall health remain a priority. Plus, find out what services are available and what options and precautions are in place to protect you and your smile.
Thank you, Delta Dental. So, hello, Jane. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. You know, I didn't know much about your organization until I started reading. I went to your website, I pulled up a lot of information, and you guys do some great work. So, why don't we start out with telling us and the listeners a little bit about the organization and why it's around?
Absolutely. So thank you again. My name is Jane Donnellan, and I am the administrator for the Idaho Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. We are a state agency that works with individuals with a diverse array of disabilities to prepare, obtain, advance in, or regain employment based on their unique skills and abilities. Services really vary depending on the individual. It is not a one-size-fits-all, for sure, but it is an eligibility-based program. It is a program that really assists individuals transitioning from unemployment to employment, competitive integrated employment. And one might say, well, what's competitive integrated employment? Well, competitive means that you're actually competing with the general workforce to get the job. You see a job listing, you compete for it. Integrated means you're working with people who have disabilities or non-disabilities. It's not just individuals with disabilities, it's integrated, and it's in the community. So it's that inclusive part of things. It's not a welfare program. We truly are looking at how do we achieve self-sufficiency in the best means for individuals with disabilities. But our program really has, it's a dual customer approach. So I just talked about the customer themselves, the individual with the disability who's coming and looking for services to help them, again, prepare for, obtain, advance in employment, even maintain employment. So people who are on the job, maybe they sustained an injury and have a disability, or maybe they're struggling with some mental health issues. And so they may come to us. That is one of our customer bases, but our other customer bases is business, which is really exciting and very relevant to this conversation for sure. But we really are a resource to customers. We've been really working over the past several years to build out services and options for Idaho businesses so they can tap into and hire qualified individuals that may be coming through our program. IDVR assists Idaho businesses by, again, hiring and retaining qualified staff. We have a business engagement team that works with businesses across the board, large, small, self-employed, those types of things, to address the needs that they may have. Some of that may include technical assistance, reasonable accommodation, connecting businesses with untapped and a diverse talent pool. We have some business highlights where businesses have an opportunity to highlight their business to our staff, and then staff can look at where there might be a job seeker who might have the skills and abilities to go there. So really, we look at business as our customer equally as much as the job seeker. So those are really important elements regarding our program.
So Idaho Division of Vocational Rehabilitation is this kind of best kept secret for a pool of qualified candidates.
Absolutely. So just a little history about the vocational rehabilitation program that may just be of interest, a little trivia on a Friday afternoon. But the vocational rehabilitation program is actually one of the oldest state and federal funded programs. Nationally, there actually are 78 programs nationally, and we're in territories as well. In Idaho, there's two programs. There's my program, which works with individuals across a diverse array of disabilities, but we also have our sister agency, the Idaho Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Oh. And they too collaborate with us and assist individuals to be successful in employment. And again, we engage with business to help business meet their talent needs. So that's a little bit of trivia, but our program, our state federal program, marked 100 years in 2020, which is incredible. In fact, it was passed in June of 1920, but it came to the state of Idaho. We were really progressive at that point, and like to think we still are. But the vocational rehabilitation program came to Idaho in December of 1920. And it was established through legislation under the 12th governor, who is David William Davis, just trivia. And our budget was $5,000. And we had 2 counselors to serve the entire state. Wow. We actually have 8 regions, and we have just slightly under 70 counselors. And our counselors are very qualified to work with individuals with disabilities. They have kind of a unique we have master's level counselors in rehabilitation counseling. They really have some unique skill sets. They have to understand disability. They have to understand labor market. They have to understand assistive technology. There's a wide range of what our staff need to understand in order to really work with the individual who's seeking the job as well as the business, so that we have the right talent at the right place.
I think that's incredible. And what's even more incredible, Jane, is your career. And so can you take a minute and give us a little bit about your history of work? And I'm going to actually read your bio really quick, because I've been working with your partner, Michaela, and she sent this over to me, and I was just, anyway. So Jane, for everybody listening, has worked for the Idaho Division of Vocational Rehabilitation since 1994. She began her career as a counselor, working with customers with psychiatric disabilities, and transitioned into management after serving 12 years as a counselor. She's worked as a regional manager and the planning and evaluation manager for IDVR. And in 2014, she was appointed administrator for the agency. So I love this. I love the amount of years that you've been in this industry. So what I want to know is, how did you land working for this agency? Tell us that story.
Sure. And to be frank, I didn't really aspire to being where I am today as the administrator, or even thinking about working for an organization that supported individuals with disabilities. However, in 1988, I was in a motor vehicle accident and I sustained a spinal cord injury. I am a paraplegic. I have been in a wheelchair since that time. And at that time, I was freshly out of college. And when I was injured, I was told by a doctor that really I didn't have a great career path ahead of myself. And it was pretty discouraging. I was young, but I also had family and friends who said, despite your disability, you can achieve anything you want. And that's how I was raised and believe so. So I did go back to school. I have a master's in rehabilitation counseling with a vocational evaluation emphasis. I was recruited by the state of Idaho. So I came freshly out of my master's program to the state of Idaho, in which, again, as you state, I worked as a counselor, working with individuals with psychiatric illness, and then as what we call a general case counselor, that I worked with individuals with diverse arrays of disabilities. But truly, my own personal experience allowed me to really recognize where my true potential could be, and where I really believed other people could see their true potential. Because of my personal experience being told you really can't, really filled that fire to say, oh no, yes, I can. And by the way, not only can I, but other people can too. And so really recognizing the amazing contributions individuals with disabilities really do lend themselves to in business and in society overall.
Wow. Well, I can tell that there's a passion, and you keep your shoulder to the wheel often, and you are in the right place, Jane. Thanks for doing what you're doing and leading others. Your story resonates. Um, you know, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the business tools and resources that you provide. So now hiring signs are everywhere, right? We've done webinars on this stuff. And actually, this month is the awareness month for hiring people with disabilities. So maybe kind of put that all together. So the October is the awareness month, and what are the business tools and resources that you can provide?
Sure. So just a little bit about October. Yes, October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. It does trace back to 1945, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. But this is a time to really highlight the importance of including and supporting individuals with disabilities in America's workforce. There is a huge disparity between individuals with disabilities who are in employment versus individuals without disabilities. So we call this the employment gap. Historically, it's been fairly significant. To illustrate, the current labor participation rate in the United States is around 77% for working aged individuals. For people with disabilities, the rate is about 37%.
Oh, wow.
And so National Disability Employment Awareness Month really highlights the significance of individuals in the workplace and puts a spotlight on their contributions for the workforce. So just as a context to what October means and really highlight, and if you Google National Disability Employment Awareness Month, you will find a lot of great stories and a lot of great successes on how businesses can be engaged and resources. But for the Idaho Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, as I indicated, business is our customer. We had a monumental shift in our law in 2014 that really put a greater emphasis on business. And so we, throughout the past many years, have hired a business relations coordinator, and that's Michaela, who you've worked with Paul closely, but she has developed amazing programs, not only for our internal staff to really help strengthen their abilities to go out and talk to employers, but also toolkits and resources to help employers understand and maybe demystify some of those perceptions about individuals with disabilities.
Yep.
And really look at how we can support business, whether it be reasonable accommodation or disability etiquette training. You know, what's the proper terminology? How do you approach an individual with disabilities? I think so many people are nervous they're going to say the wrong thing, or it's going to put them in a legal situation or what have you. And I think the tools that we can provide employers to really help them feel more comfortable and look at then where we can be a resource. But we also have, as I indicated, a pool of candidates who can meet that business needs. Michaela was really instrumental in developing what she calls business spotlights. And those really are tailored on a regional level based on the business, where a business can come in virtually, of course, and meet with our staff. And our staff can hear about their business, what their needs are, where there might be available opportunities to recruit, and really highlight their business. And that is another avenue and another resource. So I would always encourage, if any of the businesses listening go, wow, I didn't know, how can I learn more? Certainly reach out, look at our website. We have a business section that one could look at and look at all the various resources that we could provide.
Okay, I think this would be a great segue into sharing an example and a story from a success that you guys have. And you put together a great video. So shall we show that video, Jane?
Absolutely. And I can just frame this a little bit before you start the video. And this is about a young man, his name is Jeremy, who started with us when he was in high school. And it's about his journey from high school to post-secondary to a doctor of physical therapy, and now where he is successfully employed. So it's really a great example of that journey and the services we provide, and then the success that came from that. So that's just frame this a bit.
Okay, great. All right, let me get that pulled up. Just give me a second here. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Hageman, physical therapist at Specialized Physical Therapy. I will be telling you my success story with Idaho Rehab. So my story kind of starts way back in probably senior year of high school. I was talking to my audiologist. We were trying to find additional scholarship opportunities and just kind of trying to find the right profession for me. I had a fall accident, which I lost hearing in one ear, and then meningitis, which I lost hearing in my other ear. And so I had a cochlear implant, and just kind of going through that experience, kind of getting back to previous function, I really appreciate being a part of other people's stories and their journey. Transitioning from high school to college, I really did not know exactly what field I wanted to go to. I contacted one of my Idaho rehab counselors, as well as talked to a few friends, and it really helped me decide, hey, I like working with people. I like doing this. And so she really helped me transition from high school to college and get into a degree that can help you start the process of becoming a physical therapist.
A lot of what we do is understand what their disabilities, and that's kind of our first focus. We never want to establish a customer in a profession or a work setting that's going to compromise their disabilities. We're always invested in putting people up for success. So through counseling and guidance, we want to understand what they can do, what works well for them. We want to understand their skill set, their strengths, their interests.
Because my audiologist kind of referred me out to them just as a resource to help me through my schooling. So by the time I was in my freshman year of college, I started at College of Southern Idaho, working on my associates, my bachelor's with healthcare emphasis. Every time I had questions, counselors were able to help guide me to the appropriate resources.
And it took him a little bit to kind of decide what his major was going to be. So we worked with him with some assessments, interest profiles, lots of career exploration. And he kind of decided he wanted to switch his major and establish his major as a physical therapist. Job shadows are definitely a service we also offer for our high school students and also our college students. So they can get a better exposure and understanding of the career paths as far as where they are now. They can understand possibly where it looks like from the professional standpoint, where the career is going in the next 5 to 10 years.
On my initial shadowing opportunity, I had absolutely no clue where to go and how to get into the job shadowing. So my initial counselor that I had on my case was just like, hey, can you reach out to some of these local areas and just kind of see what their availability might be. As I completed my shadowing opportunities and such, that really helped guide me towards, hey, yes, this is definitely the profession I want to be in. Then I transferred to Idaho State University to work my bachelor's biology with biomedical emphasis. They helped me throughout that process around that time frame, and it's kind of been a fantastic opportunity to work where I'm at.
Jeremy's been a physical therapist here. It was a pretty awesome opportunity because we had him as a student in his very last clinicals, and we were able to get him in the clinic and just see the dedication, the care, and just overall commitment to the field. I think, part even with what he's been through in his life, like he's had a lot of life lessons and he's went through quite a bit already at this point. And I think that even with some of his hearing deficits that he does have, I think he just dedicates that much more.
Even overcoming some of the obstacles that I've had to overcome the years, I really want to instill a sense of encouragement within each one of my patients. Be like, hey, I've had a lot of help throughout my life. It's really kind of my turn to get back to the community and help you with your journey as well. I mean, kind of building up empathy, having some of those challenges, I've been able to help encourage people.
Wow, that was awesome. Jane, Jeremy is probably excelling in his career, and what a great story. Great video as well. Help explain a little bit more about the organization and what your agency offers. I'm going to throw up your website here. So if any businesses that are listening are looking for qualified candidates, give VR, the Idaho Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, a call. Give Jane a note, or Michaela, or reach out to the chamber and I can connect you as well. But Jane, is there anything else in closing that you'd like to educate the listeners on today?
And I just so appreciate this opportunity to really highlight the best kept secret. The individuals with disabilities really are an untapped talent pool that I believe a lot of businesses could have a great opportunity to access. So I appreciate the time. Yes, feel free to contact myself directly. I'm happy to connect you with our business relations coordinator. We have business teams within all our regions, but she's the central coordinator. So we really are far and wide and want to support business needs.
Awesome. It's National Disability, easy for me to say, National Disability Awareness Month this month. You guys have been a member of the chamber since 1995, so almost 30 years. Thank you for the investment in our organization and the overall community, Jane.
Well, thank you again, and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend.